Hello. Today we're going to talk about Brexit of the UK. But what does Brexit mean? It is a word that has become used by all the people, meaning Britain and exit. It is a mix up of those two words, like in the past when Greece was going to get out of the euro, it was called Grexit. But why is Britain leaving the European Union? First of all, the prime minister that was in power promised to make a referendum. This in order to get more popularity in his party in order to be re-elected. However, his proposition passed. He didn't expect to pass the referendum.
In 1973, the United Kingdom was accepted as an official member of the European Union, making itself one of the 9 countries in the organization at the time. With its entrance, UK accepted many of the truths there was within the Union. It was until 1999 when the Eurozone was created, with its first 11 members when the European Union started to have a stronger economical infrastructure. However, as we know, UK did not accept the international currency, and with this, more and more problems became more common between the UK and the Union. A very important moment in the European Union's life for the UK's decision was when the Eurozone was in an economical crisis. In this period, strong economies like Germany, France, and UK had to financiate the crisis and make loans to the weaker economies. UK, its government, and its citizens felt that they were spending a lot of money to maintain the weak economies of the Union. Considering these events and the different currency, UK's government started to consider if being in the European Union was the right choice. With the left-handed party at favor, and many British citizens wanted to have a referendum with which they would vote against or in favor to maintain the European Union's membership.
What is being done to solve the problem of Brexit? A referendum was made to vote to see if the British people wanted to leave the European Union, and in this historic referendum made on Thursday, June 23, 51.9% of the votes were to leave the European Union. The outcome prompted jubilant celebrations among Eurosceptics around the continent and sent shockwaves through the global economy. Another consequence of this outcome was that the Prime Minister David Cameron renounced to his job and Theresa May took its place. Mrs. May has said that she will trigger Article 50, the step that starts the timer in 2 years of Brexit talks, by the end of March 2017. This means that Britain is scheduled to leave the European Union by March 2019.
Okay, Brexit has made some immediate outcomes. The pound vaulted in front of the dollar, companies start making plans in case the United Kingdom actually leaves the European Union. Scotland wanted to make their own referendum, and it made clear the political and geographical divide of the country, as London, Scotland, and Northern Ireland wanted to stay in the Union overwhelmingly, and the Prime Minister resigned. The day after the referendum, the support of the European Union increased in the rest of the countries of the European Union, and other Eurosceptic movements in other countries like France and Netherlands decreased in popularity. But what are the actually possible outcomes of this? What are the things that will happen after this? Well, side note is all speculation. So this is more or less just the opinion. 5% that the UK actually leaves the European Union, like Brexit. That means that the UK actually is just like another country for the world, as Mexico is the European Union. But why is so low? Well, because the major leaders of Brexit didn't want to came in the prime minister's position when the prime minister resigns after the referendum. So there is no like a strong political figure for it, and also it's not something good for the big financial industry of London and the British financial industry that serves all the European Union. So, well, if this actually happens, well, I put 95% of Scotland's leave the United Kingdom because Scotland overwhelmingly wanted to stay in the EU. And also they have made previously another referendum for leaving the UK. So if this happens, then I put a 33% and nothing happens at all. Why? Because the people in power and politicians is not something good. Also, in another case, I think that thing is more likely 66%, more or less, that there's going to be a Brexit that is not actually a Brexit. This means that the UK will be like kind of Norway, that they will leave the European Union, but not the European Economic Area. So that means that business can run as usual, even though they leave. But this is not as good because they still have to follow the rules of the European Union, but just have no say in it. So there is not going to be a lot of change.